Hello everyone, Rich Hagon and Pro Tour historian Brian David-Marshall welcoming you to Vancouver. It's so exciting, it's the final Pro Tour of the year.
It's not only exciting, it's beautiful here. This might actually be my second favorite tournament site after Honolulu right now. It is absolutely gorgeous here, and if you have a chance to visit, you absolutely should. Maybe if the Pro Tour ever comes back here, you should qualify and come join us.
That would be an excellent plan. This is the last Pro Tour of the Magic year, and that means some races, Brian David-Marshall, being determined. Let's just alternate. There's a Player of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
There's Platinum Pros.
Gold Pros.
Silver Pros.
Ultra Pros.
Ultra Pro, okay. There's World Magic Cup Captains.
There is the World Championship seats.
There is the champion of Pro Tour Vancouver Magic Origins right here this weekend. I think that probably covers it.
Well, you know what? I mean, it does. But I mean, there's also people who are here at their first Pro Tour.
Right.
And you know what? They want to just come here. They want to keep their calm, they're calm about them. They want to know that they prepared well. They want to do well. They want to make a name for themselves. They would like to be the next Andre Strasky or Jason Chung.
This is their Magic Origin story, right?
Right. There are people here. This room is filled with RTQ winners. The first batch of RTQ winners are here, qualified for this event. So there's a lot going on.
There really is. We will keep you up to date with everything, but this isn't just Pro Tour Vancouver. It is Pro Tour Magic Origins. So the latest set, it is the last core set, BDM. A lot of people, not hyping it, have said it is arguably one of the best core sets of all time.
That was me. I said that. No.
I think you're right. It is tremendous. There is a lot going on with the format. Why don't we look at some of the cards from Magic Origins that might feature in the weekend? Where do you want to start with? Who are these guys?
Tribal. I mean, are we going to see any tribal decks this weekend? Shaman of the Pack is a huge piece of a potential Elves deck. There are Mana Elves in this set. There's Elvish Visionary in this set. There's Llanowar Empath in this set.
Right.
All these things that get you digging through your deck. And Shaman of the Pack is a card that can just close out a game. Will we see Collected Company Elves? Is that something people are going to do?
Right. On the other side, Goblin Piledrive is a card, because it's a reprint, it has a lot of love attached to it. There are a lot of people at home who really want this guy to be attacking for 1, 3, 5, so let's say 9.
Are you just picturing a Hordling Outburst?
For example.
Right.
Dragon Fodder.
Hordling Outburst. Goblin Rabblemaster. Will someone figure out the mana to make Mardu Ascendancy work with this? Is this a card? So there's. Will we see any tribal decks? That's kind of one of the questions I want to see here this weekend.
Okay. I love tension in Magic cards, and to me, in Origins, cards like the Planeswalkers have that just writ large. Because as soon as you make that legendary creature, we all know what's coming, and it's just a question of when, and can you stop it in time?
So you're talking, of course, about the 5 Planeswalkers from Magic Origins: Nissa, Jace, originally, Kithian, but
right.
Gideon, Chandra, and Liliana.
Right. So why don't we take a look at some of finding their spark, we've called it. So there's Kithian turning into Gideon Battleforged.
Yeah, you were talking about tension. So there was a big standard event last weekend, the Star City Open. Kithian was the only one of the 4 Planeswalkers that didn't make it into the top 8. So, the tension of, because I've heard people talk about this as the best one. So, will we see this card, make a push? Will someone like a Craig Wesco and his tendency, or Paul Rietzel with their tendency for a white weenie strategy, make Kithian good?
Okay, let's go to the dark side, because Kithian and Gideon, boy, they're all about loyalty. Liliana Heretical Healer and Liliana turning into Defiant Necromancer. She's got a hell of a backstory and a hell of a part to play this weekend.
Yeah, and this was a card, the Abzan Rally deck that won that event last weekend. That was the breakout deck. It's certainly going to have thrown a stone into the placid waters of people's metagame predictions for this standard tournament.
Right.
And Liliana was a big part of that.
Okay. Draft is where we will start on both Friday and Saturday. So to start with draft, you've got to have a first pick. BDM, let's talk draft. Here are a couple of cards. You've chosen Taupe Freeblade and Leaf Gilder. Why?
2 drops. This is a very aggressive format. Taupe Freeblade just on turn 2, backed by a combat trick. What are you going to do? If this thing gets through, it's a 3/3. It was a defining card. Leaf Gilder, same thing. Can be a very aggressive creature. Let you start attacking on turn 3, or it powers out your Rock's Maulers on turn 4. This is going to be very interesting to see how the pros tackle this format. We're talking about Topin Freeblade or Unholy Hunger. It's your first pick of the draft. You're sitting down for the Pro Tour. What are you going to do? You're going to take just a 2/2, or you're going to take a black removal spell?
You're going to take the 2/2, aren't you?
Yes, you are going to take the 2/2. Yeah, you're absolutely going to take the 2/2, and you're going to have tricks to back it up. You're going to have Might of the Masses. You're going to have Enshrouding Mists.
That could be a huge card this week.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, every time we saw it at Grand Prix Dallas last weekend, it was an utter blowout on the half of the Mister.
Right. Yes. As opposed to the Misty.
Play Misty for me.
Oh, my Lord.
So.
Right. So they're first picks. But what about those cards where you're sitting there, maybe in your first Pro Tour, you can see a Pro Tour champion across from you, a Hall of Famer 2 down to your left, and you open what we call a build-around card. The sort of card like these, Days Undoing, Starfield of Nyx.
These are not even draft. I want to see these cards unconstructed. That's what I want to see. I want to see someone bring to the table a crazy Days Undoing deck, or even better yet, we've seen all the tools are there for a Constellation deck. Well, what does Starfield of Nyx do for you? You start returning Eidolon of Blossoms from your graveyard to the battlefield. It becomes a 4/4. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff. I don't even think we've scratched the surface of Standard yet. Remember, this is the biggest Standard. It's completely swollen. We've got 2 core sets and 2 full blocks to work with here. I'm excited to see what new unexpected things are going to happen in the Standard format.
Right, and also because this is the last event of the season and everyone knows just how many wins they need, there are people out there who are privately saying to us backstage, you know what, I don't know whether this is a winning deck for the Pro Tour, but since what I need to do is win the Pro Tour, I'm not interested in playing, I don't know, I will make this up, they didn't say these precisely, but a mid-range Abzan deck with Siege Rhinos floating around and a Whip of Erebos here and a Sultai Reanimator there. Maybe I can go the distance with this 60 that no one's seen before.
Sure. I mean, there's some incentive to take a big shot if you have a huge gap to close. I mean, also there's people who have everything locked up.
Why don't we talk people? Because Magic, as always, is not just about the cards, it's about you, the players, and we have the best in the world right here. Why don't we start with the #1 race? So let me show you. Here he is, Eric Froelich, leader, Brian David-Marshall, in the Player of the Year race.
Eric Froelich is having a very good year. He is having a very good year. He's been playing, I had a chance to talk to him earlier today. He's been playing Magic for 21 years. He's been playing Magic for 21 years. Started, very early on, played in the first North American Grand Prix as a 13-year-old, qualified for the Pro Tour. Yeah. And now, 21 years later, he is just playing some of the best Magic of his career. He's got a Pro Tour top 8 this season. He's got a Grand Prix victory this season, the first time he's ever accomplished that. And, he's got a nice little lead in the Player of the Year race.
Yeah, the laundry list of things he could end up with this weekend. Player of the Year, Platinum Pro, obviously. Yeah, World Championship slot, Hall of Fame.
We are waiting for that announcement. That's going to come on Friday.
Yep, we'll find out more.
We'll find out who is in the Hall of Fame. 1 people, could be as many as 12 people.
Right. You'll find out on Friday with us live at lunchtime on Friday. Now, that's Player of the Year leader. What about the leader in the Rookie of the Year? Let's move along. Here we have Mr. Justin Cohen.
Yeah, Justin burst onto the scene at Pro Tour Fate Reforged. It's interesting. We talked about the Player of the Year with Eric Froelich. It's possible that we could have a Player of the Year and a Rookie of the Year who are, best friends, roommates, traveling the world together. Justin Cohen, he's like, well, my best friend's playing Magic, Sam Black. I want to do the same thing. I mean, this amazing opportunity to see, two, just best friends having these 2 titles at the same time. And he's got a substantial lead, although, some ground was closed last week in Dallas.
Right, but basically for most people, we're heading in the realms of need to be top 8 for Justin Cohen to get overtaken. So that's kind of back end of Saturday into Sunday if that race becomes tight. But here's one of the tightest races of all, and it's one man against a system. Here's our third player to watch out for, Chris Calcano. He is on 42 points right now, and he's kind of representative of a huge number of people here in the building, BDM, for whom a particular record means silver or gold, and in this case for Christian Calcano, 9 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw is enough to turn him platinum.
Right. I mean, Christian Calcano is the poster child for the Pro Tour grinder. Someone, he travels all over the world. He's at Grand Prix every weekend. He goes to every Pro Tour. And for him to get to platinum, well, you know, sure, it's a validation of what he's been doing, but it also means that he gets paid to go to all those Grand Prix. He gets the maximum appearance fee for going to all those Pro Tours. He's qualified for all those Pro Tours. He doesn't have to keep scrapping and working for each of those. So that 1 point is really, like, you know, validating and rewarding in a way that is hard to imagine if you're not someone who is a professional Magic player.
Yeah, I will just give you 3 numbers. We're going to be giving you numbers all weekend long, but let me just give you the numbers 10, 11, 12. They're easy to remember. The 10th win, the 11th win, the 12th win. That's where the points really start to ramp up. You get 3 extra points for the 10th win, 4 extra points for the 11th, 5 extra points for the 12th win. And the difference between just turning up BDM and getting 3 and getting that 12th win and getting 15, that's where the dreams are made. So Saturday afternoon, when we're back in standard, 5 rounds there, that's where all those wins are going to happen.
Although Calcano might be willing to sever a pinky for just 1 point.
Right.
Just one extra point.
One extra point. Okay. How about the World Championship? 24 players will join us at Seattle at PAX later in August. Only 24. That includes the top players from each geographic region. So who's currently leading? A little trivia moment for you, BDM. Who's currently leading for Latin America?
I believe it is Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa.
Let's take a look. It is, ta-da, Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa. I've got to be honest, I'm not quite sure how this happened.
Well,
he's had, I would call it a quiet season in some ways.
He had a quiet half a season.
Right.
So Paulo Vitor Dama de Rosa was, I mean, he was kind of shell-shocked a little bit. He was like, what's going on? I'm a Hall of Famer. I have 9 Pro Tour top 8s. I can't win a match, it felt like. He was really seemed bewildered. You know, this is really one of a handful of the greatest players to ever play the game, and he just was in a slump. And then came Pro Tour Dragons of Tarkir, and he top 16s that event.
Yep.
He goes to a Grand Prix. He finishes in the finals of that event.
That's right,
goes
with
to
Esper Dragons.
With Esper, all of this is with Esper Dragons.
Of course it is.
Goes to another Grand Prix, wins that event, and just basically Paulo got his groove back.
In the biggest way. He leads Latin America, but he is representative, again, of a huge swathe of people who are looking for one of those 24 slots in the World Championship. But there is one more group that we need to talk about, and that is the World Magic Cup. 73 national champions. We've got 30 of them locked in. We'll talk about those on Sunday. But that means 40 countries going at it, BDM, and there is a #1 race. Let's put 2 people up on screen.
That has to be Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Jacob Wilson, you know, we've seen this young man just become one of the most impressive players in the game. But he and Sean McLaren are just neck and neck here.
51 points each. Yep.
Yeah.
So, in theory,
is a straight up race.
Well, yeah, except Alexander Hayne, Pascal Maynard, the Grand Prix race. If either of them make the top 8, things get interesting. But fundamentally, I'd settle for round 15, those 2 going at it for, you know, a place in the top 8, again, in the rematch of the final of the Pro Tour.
Right.
This would be amazing. But there are so many stories. Amazing is guaranteed here in Vancouver. Don't you dare miss a thing. 16 rounds, Magic Origins draft, new standard, silver, gold, platinum, World Championship, World Magic Cup, Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year, the Hall of Fame. Enough with the talking. Let's make the action start. We will see you first thing on Friday morning. Until then, for Brian David-Marshall, Rich Hagon, saying bye.